Every summer I watch gardeners doing almost the exact same thing with their strawberries, and it just blows my mind. They enjoy their berries in June, they taste that first sweet bowl of fruit, and then they walk away, thinking the job is done. By the time winter comes, the plants are tired, weak, and completely unprepared. And when spring finally arrives, they're standing there over their beds, confused, staring at small, struggling crowns, wondering why they hardly have any berries. I used to be exactly like that. For years, my harvests were inconsistent. Some summers, I'd get a decent bowl of strawberries. Other years, the plants would collapse, the berries were tiny and sour, and it felt like no matter what I did, strawberries just didn't cooperate. One winter, I even lost half my patch because I thought I was helping by cutting every leaf down to the ground. When June rolled around, there were barely any flowers, and the harvest was a disaster. That was the moment I realized I needed to understand what strawberries really need. Here's the thing. The secret to a big harvest doesn't happen in spring. It doesn't happen when you water in May or watch the flowers open in June. It happens months earlier, in late summer and early fall. That's when the plants form the flower buds that will become next year's berries. If you cut them wrong, feed them the wrong things, or leave them unprotected, you're literally sabotaging next year's harvest before it even exists. Once I understood that, everything changed. I started experimenting, watching how plants responded, adjusting timing, trying different fertilizers, mulches, and covers. After a few seasons, I discovered a simple 3-step system that completely transformed my strawberries. Now, every June, my raised bed produces 30 to 40 pounds of berries. Sweet, big, juicy berries. Enough to eat, enough to freeze, and enough to share. And the best part? This system works everywhere. Whether you garden in the Northeast with heavy snow, in the Midwest with unpredictable winters, or even in the South where freezes still happen, the steps are the same. And it doesn't require expensive fertilizers or special equipment. Just timing, care, and a little know-how. My neighbor Mary tried it too. She used to get 20 pounds of berries from her patch. Last year, after using this method, she picked over 35 pounds. Same plants, same soil, almost double the harvest. So, here's what you need to know. First, you want to handle the leaves the right way. Don't cut everything down. Many people think that trimming plants back hard in late summer is good. It's not. If you remove too many leaves, the plant has no way to store energy for winter, and it won't form enough buds for next year. You only remove old, yellowed, or damaged leaves. Leave the healthy green ones. Those leaves are the plant's battery for the winter. They store nutrients and keep the crowns alive. And then there are the runners. Some gardeners leave every single runner thinking they'll grow new plants. Others cut everything. I've learned to be selective. Keep maybe 1 or 2 strong runners if you want to expand your patch. Remove the weak, unnecessary ones. The main plant should focus on survival and energy storage, not spreading itself thin. When you prune, make sure your tools are sharp and clean. A dull blade can tear leaves, and dirty tools spread disease. I wipe my pruners with rubbing alcohol between plants. Do this on a dry day, preferably in the morning after the dew has dried. That way, the cuts heal fast, and you avoid rot or fungus. After pruning, give your plants a good drink of water. In about a week, you'll see new, healthy leaves start to form, showing that the plant is ready to move into its winter preparation phase. Next, let's talk about feeding the plants. This is where so many gardeners go wrong. Late summer is not the time for nitrogen-heavy fertilizers. Nitrogen encourages leafy growth, which is exactly what you don't want before winter. You want the plant to focus on storing energy in the roots and forming flower buds. I use a mix of organic ingredients that's easy to make. For a small patch, take a bucket of well-rotted compost, add a handful of wood ash, and a spoonful of bone meal. This gives the strawberries phosphorus and potassium, the key elements they need to survive winter and set next year's flowers. Sprinkle this mix around the base of each plant, gently work it into the soil a few inches deep, and water thoroughly. Do this in early September, when the temperatures are cool but not freezing, around 50 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit. Within a couple of weeks, the plants perk up. Leaves turn greener, the crowns strengthen, and you can almost see the roots storing energy. Avoid fresh manure at this time. It's too high in nitrogen and can trigger unwanted leafy growth that won't survive the frost. Finally, the last thing you need is protection. Winter can be harsh, and even a well-fed plant will struggle without insulation. I mulch my strawberry beds once temperatures start dipping to around 35 or 40 degrees at night. I use a mixture of straw, fallen leaves from healthy trees, and a little peat moss if I have it. Layer it about 3 inches thick around the base, but be careful not to pile it directly onto the crown. That prevents rot. If you live in an area with very cold winters, I add an extra layer of pine branches or a breathable row cover. This creates an air buffer that protects the plants from ice and wind without trapping moisture that causes mold. Never use plastic directly on the plants. It causes condensation and kills the crowns. Do all of this, and by spring you'll see the difference. Healthy crowns, strong roots, and flower buds ready to bloom. When June comes, the berries will be larger, sweeter, and far more abundant than before. And the best part? Your plants will be much more resilient. They'll handle unexpected freezes, droughts, and pests far better than unprepared plants. I know this works because I've tested it season after season. My neighbors have tested it. Mary, as I mentioned, doubled her harvest last year, and I see it in my own patch every June. 30 to 40 pounds of berries from just one raised bed, without chemicals, without stress, and without endless work. So here's what you can do in the next few weeks. Start by trimming only the damaged or yellow leaves, leaving the healthy green ones. Take care of the runners, keeping only the strong ones. Water your plants well after pruning. About a week later, mix your compost, wood ash, and bone meal, apply it to the soil, and water again. Finally, as fall deepens, cover your beds with mulch, and if your winter is harsh, add pine branches or a row cover for extra protection.